Hello and welcome. And if you are watching this video in May, you know that this is the absolute most popular retreat season of the year. So the period between May and July are the very, very popular months where people want to travel, they want to experience new countries, they want to see different parts of the world, and they want to share their love of Pilates in a retreat situation. So if you haven't run a Pilates retreat, this is the video for you. And if you've run a Pilates retreat and it's been a flop, this is the video for you. Guys, running successful and quality Pilates retreats requires lots of skill, lots of experience, lots of knowledge, and lots of research, plus lots of hard work before you even start the retreat. But I'm here to make this so much easier for you. Keep watching the video right through the end because I've got some really exciting news for you. If you don't know me by now, my name is Anita Horry. I am second generation Pilates teacher trainer and coach for all those amazing Pilates teachers who want to make this world a better place. Now, I have my own retreat center. I've been running retreats for over a decade, but for the past 2 years, I've had my own. I've got a location in a beautiful part of Spain, set in the mountains, close to the beach, in a real beautiful strategic location that has been specifically thought out before I even purchased the property. So as I said, I've run retreats for over a decade. I know what it takes to run a successful retreat. I coach other people on how they should be running their own retreats. I even help other people in opening up their own retreat centers around the world. And this is going to be the video that's going to give you that boost to run your first Pilates retreat as an amazing success, and more than anything, to give you that branding, to give you that stepping forward on growing your own business. Remember, if you've got any questions throughout the video or even at the end of the video and you want some help with creating the most amazing retreat for your own clients, reach out to me. Click on the link below. There is a link to a discovery call with me where we can have a conversation together, free call where I can help you start setting the seeds, planting your seeds to your first retreat and make it the most amazing success. You know, retreats are absolutely rife at the moment, from photographers, Pilates, yoga teachers, healers. Everybody is running retreats nowadays, but how many of these retreats are actually so successful? So the trick to making the most amazing Pilates retreat, which is going to be successful, people leave happy, people are going to leave you rave reviews, and you're going to make it profitable, is creating transformations. That's the key to it, guys. So how do we create these transformations? So when you're organizing a retreat, the first thing you need to know is to plan ahead. So 6 months in advance is the absolute bare minimum that I would recommend to plan your retreat. I would not recommend you try to rush a retreat within a 3-month period because you're not going to get the right location, you might not have the right budget, and you're more than likely going to be running your retreat at a loss. So planning ahead, giving yourself enough time is going to give you that determining factor where you're going to have all the places you want to book in the world. You're going to have the right social media strategy and the marketing strategy to be able to get the response that you want to create your amazing retreat. Once you've planned ahead and you've figured out a date for your retreat, you need to start looking at creating a budget for your retreat. So depending on the kind of clients you're going to attract to your retreat, if you already have clients that have been talking about a retreat and you've been discussing options with them, find out what kind of budget they'll be comfortable with. Find out whether they're happy to travel a little bit further away or whether they want to stay local. Find out what sort of sessions they're going to be wanting. Do they want just to do Pilates all the time and just chill and rest by the pool? Or do they want to go and see some excursions? Do they want to visit the local area that they're going to? So once you have an idea of their budget, you can then determine on which locations you could go to and more importantly, what activities you're going to be including in your retreat. And once you're determining the budget, you also need to identify the length of time that you're going to be running the retreat for. So I've coached teachers running anything from a one-day retreat in their local area to a full-blown 2-week retreat in an exotic location. That's of course cost them a ton of money, but it's also generated lots of income because the kind of clients that were coming to their retreat were able to put in the investment into a long-drawn destination that was going to be more of a vacation and a retreat. So, the most important thing here is to identify the demands of your current clients. So if you have absolutely nobody, you just decided you're going to be running a retreat and you have no interest in the retreat whatsoever, what I would really suggest you do is you start asking your current community, whether it is your clients, whether it's friends, whether it's people that you're familiar with, or maybe you go to yoga sessions or Pilates sessions or whoever you meet in your community, and you ask them if they had to go to a retreat, what would they be looking for and what kind of budget they've got, and then now more importantly is how long would they be going on for. Now from previous experience I can tell you that running a retreat for 2 weeks can be extremely demanding on you, okay, and it's very taxing physically and mentally, but it's also dangerously put, because if you have a situation where your clients, your participants have left their countries for a period of time that they're not quite used to leaving their home for a period of time, then they're going to start feeling uncomfortable after a number of days. And the actual trick and golden days of having the best retreats are between 4 days to a week. From my experience, between 4 days to a week is the absolute key times, key days that you can have for running the most amazing, profitable and successful retreat. If you're looking to cross continents, you don't want to be running a retreat for 3 to 4 days. People are spending so much money in getting international flights to get to your location. You want to give them value for money. So running a retreat for 3 to 4 days and you've got people coming from other countries, international countries, continents, you're really not going to make it valuable for them. We want to be looking at a retreat that's going to be maybe between 5 to 10 days, and you're going to give them the ability to maybe mix their retreat with another activity. Maybe pre or post your retreat, they'll be able to take another vacation in a location that's not far from you. Now, there are so many ways of doing this. You could hook up with a travel agency, you could look at doing different excursions, or you could just say to them, look, you're here for X amount of time. Prior to that and after that, it's your call. You decide what you want to do. If you want the independence to do that, you can travel to wherever you want. If you've got any questions about certain locations, I can certainly help you, but I don't want to get involved in booking for you or organizing anything for you. Or on the other hand, if you want to be hand-holding your participants and organizing something at a profit for you, maybe you'll be able to make a cut out of creating some packages for them. Maybe they can do some excursions and visit a location that's not too far from you or that's reachable, easily accessible from you. Then you'll be able to get that extra little income on running your own retreat, but organizing the package. Now, I'm going to give you a word of warning here. If you're organizing retreats and you are giving add-on packages where you can't manage, you're not responsible for these extra excursions or extra trips or accommodation, whatever that is, then you really must tread carefully, because if there are situations that are out of your control, at the end of the day, the contract of the client is with you. It's not with the person that you have organized the other activities with. It is not with the travel agent, it is with you. The buck really stops with you. So you need to be comfortable in taking that responsibility, maybe at a cut, but you have to take that responsibility of making sure that even once they leave your retreat, They are going to be looked after and cared for the way that they would have if they stayed with you at your retreat location. So this must be a very thorough decision that you have to make and thread carefully, as I said. So the next thing is going to be focusing on your demographics. So some people don't mind attending mixed gender retreats. Some people prefer to be women only or men only. It really depends on the theme of your retreat. Obviously, you're not going to be running a womb healing retreat and inviting men to the party, are you? But there are certain retreats that can be a mixed retreat. You know, maybe you're looking for a stress relief retreat. Maybe you're wanting to plan something that is only Pilates specific, and why not have mixed genders in your retreat location? And if you are going to do that, then look at the ages of your participants. Okay, so picture the scene. You want to create a purely generic Pilates retreat. You want to invite your clients over to a retreat, but your clients' age range ranges from anything from their early 20s to their late 60s or maybe even early 70s. Now, I have run retreats like this before, and I have had multiple people. I've had nearly 30 people in the retreat. And as I mentioned, the ages were from early 20s to late 60s. How do you think you could run that retreat to cater for the individual necessities of the whole group when they have such a mixed range? So when you think about it, in your group classes, what does a 20-year-old want in comparison to the requirements of a 60-year-old? What demands are they going to put onto you? Are they going to be wanting to go to a beach location? Are they going to want to go to somewhere that is so quiet, that's peaceful, where they can just embrace nature and just relax and chill and practice Pilates? You've got to consider all these things before you start advertising your retreat and pushing it out there to your people. And who knows, maybe you have such an amazing demand that you could be splitting your retreats and do a retreat for one demographic, and then another time you do another retreat for the other demographic. So when you're thinking about activities, you also have to think about the demographics. When you're thinking about the type of place you're going to go to, you need to look at the demographics. You also need to think about the demographics when you are choosing your retreat accommodation. So your younger generation are perhaps going to be a little bit more comfortable with sharing with other people, and they don't mind sharing a room with maybe 3 or 4 more people. But then the older generation might want to have a more private setting where they are catered for, where they are pampered, and they want a room to themselves and they don't want to be sharing any bathrooms. So all this is really, really important to consider at your planning stage. Then once you have chosen the population you want to work with and chosen the location you're going to take them to, you need to figure out the amount of people that you're going to be taking to your retreat. So my recommendation is do not offer retreats for any more than 12 people. Keep your retreat as small as possible. You want to create transformations and you want to be able to spend the time equally with the participants. You want to be able to create that community, and you're not going to create that embracing community if you've got any more than 12 people in your group. I mentioned it earlier, I've had retreats where I've had 30 people in the retreat. I've had retreats where I've only had 3 people in the retreat. You know what? The most amazing number has always been between 6 to 12 people. Any more, you're really starting to get into some problems, and you don't want to be doing that on your very first retreat. So keeping that number low is going to guarantee that you're going to give that boutique personalized experience to your participants, and you're very likely to create the transformations that you set out to achieve when you've planned the retreat. Now let's talk about location. So finding a neutral location is key. Once you are trying to determine who you're going to gather, how many people you're going to take to your retreat, and what kind of budget they've got, you should start really narrowing it down to how far away from home. Maybe you can do a radius. If it's a location close to home, you can do a radius of maybe 50 miles or maybe up to 100 miles away from your own home. If it's a short retreat, I wouldn't recommend you go any further than that. If you are venturing to a destination that's going to be more exotic, or maybe if you're crossing continents and you want to be exploring culture and you want to be doing different things that you would ordinarily do at home, then find that location that's going to be most suitable for running the retreat and also for doing the activities that you are planning to do. So just to give you a typical example, if you are promoting your retreat to horse riding people, and they like beach and they like horse riding, and of course they like Pilates, and you want to take them to a city location in, let's say you're crossing continents, you're coming to Europe, and you want to be in a location that is bustling, that's bubbling, do you think that it's really going to give the transformation that you want to give to your clients? If they are horsey people and they love the beach, do you think taking them to a city location is going to be the best location for them? The retreat location has to really be a reflection of what you aim to achieve. What are the pinpoints? What are the points you want to be achieving? Do you want that quiet location? For your horse riding people, if they're wanting to have horse riding every day, you don't want to be taking them to a city. You want to be going to a place that is embraced in nature, that is close to the most beautiful scenery, that's going to be able to cater for the requirements of that specific group. Likewise, if you want to have a more cultural retreat where maybe you want to be visiting art galleries or doing things that involve culinary delights where people get to experience a little bit more culture, maybe museum visits, etc., it would be a really good idea to create a retreat in a location that's going to be very close to your venues, to your excursions, because the last thing you want to be doing is booking your accommodation in one location, but then most of the activities are way more than an hour's drive from your location. You're going to be wasting so much time in travel, and they're not going to gain the same benefit from the retreat. So finding the right location is crucial, absolutely crucial. Now, if you are running a Pilates retreat and you teach Pilates on equipment, it really isn't going to be helpful if you take them to a retreat location that's going to only provide them with mat Pilates or yoga or anything that's going to be a step down from what they're used to in their everyday lives. Guys, I can tell you this from my own experience and from all the other teachers that I coach in running their own retreats. In giving them the exceptional service and the transformation you want to give them, you want to take it a step up from what you currently offer, not actually tone it down to only offer mat Pilates or just mix it in with yoga or other activities. Yes, of course, it's amazing to offer things like yoga, maybe Tai Chi and Reiki and massage therapy, and create that sense of holistic treatment that you want to give them in the retreat. But if you are a Pilates teacher and have experience on the equipment, then take my advice, seek out retreat locations that have an on-site Pilates studio in them. Yes, they're not as easy to find. I have one of those. I run a Pilates retreat center with a Pilates studio, with a fully equipped Pilates studio. Or I would suggest that you find a location that is not far from a Pilates studio and check out the Pilates studio. Is the Pilates studio properly equipped? Do they have enough equipment to cater for the group you want to take with you? What about other facilities? What about nature? What about trekking? What about having access to beach? Is there something else you want to be adding onto your retreat? Do you have access to maybe kayaking, water sports? Do you want to go surfing? Do you want to go abseiling? What kind of things are you interested in doing? And most importantly, are your participants interested in doing? And find a location that's going to show and reflect all those activities. It's going to tick all the boxes. of the activities that you want to have for your clients. Next is set the right agenda. Now, I could go on forever about this because I have run retreats where I have, jam-packed their days with tons and tons of activities that actually they finished their retreats and they felt overwhelmed because they absolutely loved the retreat, but they felt that there were too many activities. And of course, that has taught me lots and lots of lessons. And then I have actually hosted retreats where the retreat leader, just allowed everybody to do absolutely nothing. And that was on the other end of the scale, because then what happened is the participants got bored, so you really need to fit in the right activities, the right amount of activities into your days, and not overwhelm your clients, but not let them get bored and finding themselves with nothing to do, because society nowadays wants more, right? Society wants more and more and more. And especially if you are running a retreat for a long period of time and people want to come and switch off from their everyday lives and they want to tune down, it's really great to help them, especially for the first couple of days, just to switch off and just to take it easy. But after day 3, day 4, they really want to start doing some activities. So really be careful on what kind of activities you give them and the amount of activities that you give them every single day. And always factor in travel days. So the day they arrive and the day that they leave, factor those 2 days in, because you don't want to be giving them way too much on those 2 days. So you got to consider, do I just give them meals? Do I give them maybe a relaxation session? Do we open up the body because they've traveled far? Consider all these things, because they really are game changers in running your successful retreat. And finally, to the most important part, let's get that budget set up. Let's get the costing set up. Once you have all the figures, once you've got all your quotes from your suppliers, start collecting the costings and putting it all together, do your budget and work out how much you're going to be charging for your retreat. Remember, you need to have a healthy profit. Ideally, you add the cost of your own flight, your travel costs, and also the cost of your accommodation and retreat facilities into the budget, into the workings. And once you have come up with your price for your clients, you need to start collecting money. You need to start collecting deposits, because once you've started collecting deposits, that's when you're getting commitment from your clients. That's when you start making everything real and you start taking more and more steps to really close in on the finer things, the finer details, the nitty-gritty things that you really want to then work with your providers to make it an exceptionally amazing experience for your participants. And once you have started planning the retreat and you've got your first participants reserved, booked in, you want to keep promoting it. You want to keep putting the word out there. You want to keep talking about that in your sessions. You want to keep advertising it wherever you can, getting the word of mouth, maybe giving offers to your current participants who already booked in their places, making sure that they can maybe get something free for referring other people, just working out a package, a system that's going to be a win-win for everybody. And once you've bolted all these things together, you are guaranteed to have the most amazing, successful retreat that everybody's going to be talking about for many years to come. Guys, I hope you did like this video. If you have questions about running retreats, remember, click on the link below. You can get the opportunity to get on a free call with me to help you figure out what is the best way to run your first retreat. Or if you have run retreats and they've not been successful, I'm here to help you. I'm here to give you some guidelines. I'm here to give you some tips. And as I said, my own retreat center is a haven for so many people, and it has been an amazing blessing that I feel has brought such an amazing community together. Guys, if you did like the video, I would love you to hit the like, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so that you get notified every time I upload a video online. Until my next video, guys, goodbye for now.